Welcome back to the Smarter Brain Podcast. I'm Mark, and I'm here with my brilliant co-host, Sarah. Today we're talking about a situation that makes even confident travelers suddenly feel like they've forgotten how to be a person, landing in a country where you don't speak the language. Not, I'm a little rusty, but truly, I can't read the signs and I don't know what that announcement just said.
It's such a specific kind of panic. You walk out of the airport, and the street signs look like they're written in code. You try to remember a phrase from school and your brain offers you exactly nothing. And in that moment you realize, wow, being able to communicate is basically your superpower. And it just got taken away.
Exactly. But here's the reassuring part. Words are only one slice of how humans communicate. When you're stuck without the language, you're not starting from zero. You still have facial expressions, tone, gestures, context, and the ancient human ability to point at something and look hopeful.
Pantomime saves the day. It's like travel turns everyone into a part-time actor. And you'd be surprised how far you can get with a smile, a confused but friendly face, and a little creativity.
Totally. But before we get into the charades portion of the episode, let's start with the simplest rule that changes everything. Learn a tiny handful of polite survival phrases. Not a full course. Not grammar. Just the essentials.
If you learn only a few words, make them the ones that signal respect. The core set I swear by is, hello, please, thank you, and excuse me or sorry. That's it. For little keys that open a lot of doors.
Those words do something bigger than their dictionary meaning. They tell the person you're talking to, I know I'm the guest here, and I'm trying. And that one signal can completely change how an interaction goes.
Because if you walk up to someone and launch straight into English like it's their job to decode you, people can get guarded. It's not even rude on purpose, but it can feel like you're demanding help. Meanwhile, if you start with a local greeting and a please, you're basically saying, I respect your space and your culture. After that, yes, you might still point at the menu like a toddler, but the vibe is totally different.
And honestly, most people want to help when they feel respected. That's the travel hack, cultural humility. You don't need to be fluent to be courteous.
Also, practice those 4 phrases out loud before your trip. Hearing yourself say them matters. The first time you try to pronounce something shouldn't be when you're stressed, hungry, and standing in the wrong line.
Now let's talk about the modern cheat codes, visual and digital tools. We live in a time where your phone can be a pocket interpreter, a sign reader, and a menu decoder.
Yes. Translation apps are huge, especially when you download the language pack for offline use. Because the moment you need it most is usually the moment your signal is weakest. And the camera translation features? Unreal.
The camera translation is a lifesaver for train schedules, street signs, anything printed. You aim your phone, and suddenly the mystery text becomes something you can act on. Not perfect, but often good enough to keep you moving.
It also helps you avoid ordering something wildly different than what you imagined. Although I will say, accidental ordering is part of the adventure. Sometimes you discover your new favorite dish. Other times you learn you should have asked one more question.
And if you have allergies or dietary restrictions, that's not the time to gamble. Pro tip, have a translated allergy card saved on your phone and ideally printed too. Something simple and clear that states what you cannot eat. You want to reduce ambiguity as much as possible.
Yes, because trying to mime severe peanut allergy can get dicey. You can do a lot with gestures, but some topics deserve precision.
Another strategy that doesn't get enough love is what I call situational decoding. Before you ask for help, take a minute and watch what's happening around you. Humans learn by copying. Travel is basically a real-life tutorial if you pay attention.
This works everywhere. You're at a cafe and you don't know the ordering system? Watch the next 2 people. Do they pay first or after? Do they seat themselves? Do they grab a ticket number? 60 seconds of observation can save you 5 minutes of awkward confusion.
Same with public transportation. If you're trying to figure out a subway machine, look for the flow. Where do people tap? Where do they stand? Which buttons do they press first? Sometimes you don't need to speak at all. You just need patience and pattern recognition.
And if you do need to ask someone, a helpful trick is to start with context. Like, point to the map first, then point to where you are, then point to where you want to go. You're building a tiny story with visuals.
That's huge. When words are limited, clarity comes from structure. Which brings us to how to speak when you're speaking across a language gap. Slow down, simplify, and drop the fancy stuff.
No idioms. No slang. No, could you possibly point me in the direction of, just, where's the train station? And if that's too much, even, train station? With a polite tone and a smile.
And keep your sentences short, one idea at a time. Also, if someone doesn't understand, repeating the same sentence louder usually doesn't help. Rephrase instead. Use different words. Or use your phone to type it out and show them.
And be okay with getting it wrong. You will mispronounce things. You will misunderstand a gesture. You might walk confidently in the wrong direction for 3 blocks. The key is to stay friendly and keep your sense of humor.
Because the moment you stop trying to be perfect, travel gets a lot more fun. Getting lost in translation can turn into the best stories. How you ended up at a tiny neighborhood restaurant, how someone walked you to the bus stop, how you learned a word you'll never forget.
And it reminds you of something important. Most communication is about intention. If your intention is respectful and curious, people generally feel that, even if the vocabulary isn't there.
So here's your quick checklist before you go. Learn hello, please, thank you, and excuse me or sorry. Download offline translation tools. Use your camera to read signs and menus. Observe how locals do things before jumping in. And when you speak, keep it simple and kind.
And pack your confidence with your passport. You don't need to sound like a local to connect with people. You just need to show up with respect, patience, and the willingness to look a little silly sometimes.
That's it for today's episode of the Smarter Brain Podcast. Thanks for listening, and wherever you're headed next, may your gestures be clear and your menus be easily translated.
Safe travels, and we'll see you next time.